Hello friends, today I thought we'd take a quick look at the Wendigo Wave Nightcrawler figure. Here's Nightcrawler out of the package, and for the most part I really dig the sculpt on this guy. He's got his 3 fingers and 2 toes, just like Nightcrawler should, which is just like a Ninja Turtle, but also really weird when you think about it, because if you had 3 fingers, why wouldn't you have 3 toes? Or if you had 2 toes, why wouldn't you have 2 fingers? Or maybe these things back here are actually toes, that's probably it, who knows. Face sculpt on Nightcrawler is really good. They got his pointy ears in there. I like the waves and the folds in his hair, but unfortunately the hair is a separate piece, and on mine it looks like it wasn't glued down all the way on the left side. Like you see this little sculpted dent for the sideburn to go in, and it's like they didn't push it down all the way. That kind of bugs me, but otherwise the face sculpt's really good looking. These thingies that stick off the shoulders are actually soft rubber, so they won't get in the way of articulation too much, and this whole red piece is a separate rubber material, which matches pretty good with the painted hard plastic here. And all around the sculpt is nice and slender, athletic looking. The tail's not bendy wire, unfortunately, but it does rotate, and it's sort of just sculpted to like wrap around either his leg or his head, kind of, I guess, if you want to put it up there. His shoulder, kind of, too. It just looks kind of cool, I think. I love the little point at the end of it. Really not too much to complain about with the sculpt. Just point out that these are rubber and that the hair is a separate piece, so watch out for it to be glued on properly. The colors, pretty good matchup on the red here, I'd say, considering this is a different material. However, down here, looks like the red paint's just sort of not thick enough. Like you can kind of see in there where the white paint for the boot ends. So that's kind of weird. Or maybe it's the black paint that begins. No, it's white paint. These are sculpted, molded in black, and it's painted white under there, and you can see where that paint ends underneath the red, which I'm pretty sure is not supposed to be translucent because this is supposed to be a boot. Speaking of which, why don't you just like sculpt these? Probably because you're reusing these shins. But what's not reused are those toes and those hands, because Nightcrawler only got 3 fingers and sort of 3 toes. Oh, we talked about this earlier. Anyways, the paint is pretty good, pretty clean on the face. He's got a little bit of blue wash in the hair. Not too much to complain about except the translucentness of the red on the boots and the fact that they're just painted and not sculpted. But otherwise, sculpt and paint are pretty darn top-notch. Articulation's also pretty darn top-notch, exactly what you'd expect for a Marvel Legend. So, he's got a ball joint head that's on a hinge, can go pretty far up, pretty far down, can look all the way around. Shoulders are on ball joints, they can go so far up, and they can go all the way around. The rubber slows him down a little, but it bends out of the way. It's mostly not hindered. He's got bicep swivels and double elbows that get great range. He can touch his own shoulder there. And then the right hand he comes packaged with has a vertical hinge, and of course it also swivels. There we go, all the way down. It's kind of stiff at first, and all the way up to pretty much to like 70 degrees or something. The left hand he has packaged with has a normal up-down hinge and swivels all the way around, but he has an alternate hand on the right that swivels up and down too. He's got an ab crunch, looks really far back, really far forward, swivel waist, goes all the way around, of course, and swivel tail, but, no bendy wire, unfortunately. Hidden up under those shoulder pads, he also has butterfly joints at the shoulder, but they really barely move back and forth at all, honestly. Well, at least they're hidden by the sculpt, so that's nice. Hips are on ball joints. They can go so far forward, so far back, and do the splits pretty good. He's got swivels at the thighs, double knees, can totally kick his own butt. There's hinge and pivot ankles, and that's it. So pretty much exactly what you'd expect from Marvel Legends, except no shin swivel at all. Nightcrawler's packaging was pretty typical for Marvel Legends. On the side, you got some cool character artwork there, some more of it on the back, and the other figures in the Wendigo Wave, and Mr. Sinister I'll be reviewing soon. Anyways, let's open it up. The plastic of the package is the front part of this little tray here. Nightcrawler does sort of just pop out, but his tail's gonna kind of pop out with him. You gotta do that separate. And this little piece of tape here's got to come off too. And now he's free. For accessories, Nightcrawler comes with Wendigo's left arm, a big honkin' sword, an alternate right hand, an alternate screaming head, and an alternate smiling head. Now that sword does kind of fit in his normal right hand, and also kind of in his normal standard left, but let's pop on the alternate right and see how that is. Went in easy enough. And now for the sword. Yeah, I don't know. It's, Maybe the packaged right hand is what he's meant to hold the sword in, but these fingers are bound so tightly I couldn't quite get it in there. Let me try again. These fingers are just like curled too tightly, Hasbro. How am I supposed to pry them open to get the handle in there? It's really hard to do. Oh, would you look at that? I did it. So the packaged hand he has is the one for holding the sword. The alternate one is just like his packaged left hand, which is sort of the open grip thingy. Bah! Yeah, Nightcrawler's first alternate head has him screaming, and it looks very, very good. Good expression, and unlike the standard head, it has this intense, heavy shading on it, like how he's drawn with a big shadow on his forehead sometimes. It looks really good. I like the fade, how it transitions to normal blue. Let's see how the last alternate head is, and let you guys see how easy it is to pop heads on and off. Well, this head's no, it's not too tight. It's perfect, actually. Really good alternate head swapping, Hasbro. And Nightcrawler's just sort of smirking, smiling. It's weird how his sharp teeth are just kind of painted on his lower lip. Like, I don't know, are they sculpted? They're not really sculpted. They could have sculpted some fangs a bit better, but other than that, really cool alternate heads. Okay, so now looking at the scale, Nightcrawler stands at just about 6 1/8 inches tall. Pretty perfect. Here he is with Batman and Spider-Man. Fellow X-Men characters Wolverine and Sabretooth, who he should be taller and shorter than, respectively, which he is, so that's good. And the previous gold standard for Nightcrawler figures, the old Toy Biz one. If there's one thing I like about new Nightcrawler compared to old Toy Biz Nightcrawler, it's, well, you know, he actually looks new and young compared to the old Nightcrawler who looks, well, old. I mean, don't get me wrong, this head sculpt definitely looks like Nightcrawler and it looks demonic and stuff, but it just looks so weird and old with a big weird chin there. I'm used to seeing Nightcrawler in, like, X-Men Evolution where he's a teenager and, like, I like this head sculpt a lot better. However, the old Nightcrawler, these rubber shoulder pad thingies, they chose to do that by making this entire upper body piece rubber and gluing it on. So, like, see right here, plastic starts, and right here is rubber. So they had to match the black with paint, and they did a really good job of it. But they didn't have to worry about that on the Hasbro. However, they did have to worry about, like, the seam lines where the red rubber meets the black plastic here. So, I mean, the sculpt line is kind of obvious, whereas here it transitions perfectly because it's all one big piece, and then it's sort of integrated into the sculpt. That line's supposed to be there where it goes from rubber to plastic, but, you know, it's kind of a pick-your-preference situation there. What's not, though, is just how much more articulation the old Toy Biz Nightcrawler had. Articulated fingers and toes, and, yes, a bendy wire in the tail. Hasbro, you could have done that, too. And they even put the swivels at the shins. Although I will say this in defense of the new Hasbro one, like, I mean, this one had, like, a diaphragm joint and an ab joint, but, like, it was, maybe it's just mine or something, but wow, is it not flexible? I mean, yeah, the new one just has, like, one ab crunch, basically, but gets so much more range. So, I mean, I'll give him the advantage there, but definitely disadvantage for no fingers and toes and no shin swivel. So, that plus the new head sculpt that I love a lot more than this old guy here, the old man Nightcrawler, and get him out of here. I gotta say, I really recommend this Nightcrawler. I mean, it's not perfect. I mean, just like look at the sloppy little paint on the gloves there, and yeah, I could have some better articulation right here or something, especially back here with a bend or something, but comes with really cool accessories, a really cool looking alternate head, I think, which none of the old Nightcrawlers came with, so I do recommend him. Go out and get him. Until next time, peace out, YouTube.